Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Development Discourse, where we ideate for Africa's development. My name is Patrick Okibo. I'm the founding partner at Next Year. Next Year is a multi-competency advisory firm that's focused on solving Africa's complex development issues. And Africa's got a couple of those. And if we reference back to what Einstein said, the problems we're trying to deal with today, we can't solve them at the same level of thinking we're at when we created those problems. So we're constantly looking for new perspectives, new ways of understanding old problems to see if we can find solutions that work. And that's what we're going to do today with my guest, Dr. Jess Castellotti. Is a trained architect, but he's also an art historian and now works for a museum as an art curator. He's the director at the Yemisi Shilo Museum at the Pan-Atlantic University in Lagos. And he's gone on an interesting journey transitioning from architecture to art. And at the museum, he's putting together some really cutting-edge, innovative designs, innovative exhibitions that are culturally relevant. Jess, you're welcome.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you to you all for joining in this conversation.
Fantastic. So let's start with your journey. So you've moved from architecture to helping Nigeria to document art history. You've published a number of very interesting books on contemporary Nigerian art. You're the director at the Yemisi Shilo Museum. How did this journey happen? Was there a pivotal moment or an influence that kind of moved you more towards the art than architecture?
Well, this was an unplanned movement from one thing to another. It came naturally. For decades, I have been interested and I have been working with artists, with collectors, with the arts, with institutions. So there was a moment in my professional development as a project manager and an architect when in a way I felt a little bit tired, and at the same time I questioned how much impact is this having in society? Why am I here? Why am I here? It's not because of the job, it's not because of the money. I'm not working for a multinational and not making money, and not. Why am I here? I came to Nigeria as a volunteer to work in an NGO. And after all these years, I think I'm happy to say that I have maintained that fire that moved me to want to do something. Then it came naturally to devote more time, more energies, more resources. Then there was a moment when I decided to close down my architectural firm, go back to school, started studying again art history. I finished the doctorate 3 years ago, so I'm new and learning and beginning. Most of my colleagues and friends have already retired, but I'm starting a new life. When I am 90, I will think of retirement perhaps, but for now, important things to do, I think.
I doubt you're going to retire, Jess. I doubt it, but we'll see when we get there. So art is one of these topics, that people think it's for the wealthy. So in Nigeria they say, what's the value of art? You need to eat first, before you can talk about art. So how do you help us understand why art matters? Why is art important for human development, important for national development?
I think the answer has to go but by going back to what we are as human beings and what capacities we have. What I could say, what are we called to be? What can we be as human beings? And it's more than consumers, more than citizens. All these things are important. Is the capacity to do something else. And the arts, not only the arts, culture in general, but heritage, history, other human endeavors allow us to grow as human beings. So there is a danger in reducing development to economic development, to quantifiable, measurable indicators of development, roads, electricity, water, number of people in education, whatever. There is much more than that. There are some aspects of what we are as human beings that cannot be quantified.
Yep.
Art opens windows or allows us to enter, to go a little bit beyond in other realms, the intellectual, the spiritual.